We are back with One Piece, episode 1131, A Fleeting Moment of Happiness, Kumachi and Jenny. Oda always does this to us. There is always two parts of the backstory with Oda. There's always a good one with triumph and things are looking up, and then some horrendous tragedy comes up. We pick up 30 years ago, 8 years after God Valley. Kuma is now 17 and a pastor of the church that Clap had, and Jenny is 21, and gorgeous. Kuma is using his Pawpaw powers to push the pain and sickness out of the elderly, like he did with Luffy at Thriller Bark and the other kids when they were younger. The older folks ask Kuma if he can start healing them every day, but Jenny gets mad and says no, only on Sundays. We're going to see why a bit later. The elderly are so proud at Kuma and Jenny that they just take her thrashing like it's nothing. The truth is, the king of the Sorbet Kingdom, King Bakuri, has put everyone, including the elderly, to work. And if you can't work, you won't be taken care of. They'll be locked up because they can't pay the heavenly tribute, and when you're locked up, they don't even feed you here. Things are hard in the Sorbet Kingdom. Probably has something to do with Kuma and his family being captured. As the day ends, the elders give Kuma and Jenny food as thanks for healing. The sun goes down and we see Jenny sitting outside the church, and Kuma inside the church, with a collection of the elders' pain in a bubble. If no one absorbs the pain, it'll just go back to the old folks. So Kuma accepts their pain, like Zoro at Thriller Bark with the nothing happened moment. So much pain is inflicted, blood is coming from Kuma's insides and outsides, leaving him bedridden for a few hours or so. I always gave Kuma only being down for a few hours to his Buccaneer lineage, them being extra tough and stuff. The other Celestials even knew that as a kid he was tougher than the others. But this is also why Jenny snapped on the elders for asking if Kuma could heal them every day. But yeah, Kuma wakes up to Jenny sitting at his bedside worried about him, and he decides to eat the food that the elders gave them, which makes Jenny smile. Now look, this part of the manga was crazy. People had all types of theories coming out. The most prominent being that Jenny was Luffy's mom, with the whole joyful personality over food. And like, yeah, but no. That sounded crazy then, it sounds crazy now. Cut to 25 years ago, Kuma, 22, early morning reading the newspaper. Jenny, who's 26, wakes up to greet him and they have coffee together. Over coffee, Jenny asks Kuma to marry her. Kuma flashes back to when him and his family were captured, remembering specifically that because him and Clap were buccaneers, their children and spouses were at risk. He declines and asks her to please understand that he doesn't want her to be unhappy. It breaks her heart, but she accepts that he's not ready. I'm sorry, Jenny, but so much has already happened to both of you. Kuma redirects attention back to the newspaper where he sees that the freedom fighters led by Monkey D. Dragon are on the move again. Kuma's a fanboy because Dragons liberated a couple of countries and encouraged the people to fight for themselves. We get a knock at the door and it's the kids that we grew up with. They flirt with Jenny like everybody does, but really they just came to share some fish. Cut to 22 years ago and King Bakuri has cut the Sorbet Kingdom in half. The southern part is pretty much lawless now. The royal army has some elders captured and Kuma comes to save them. Using the Pawpaw fruit, he easily defeats the whole squad and he ends them with the Ursa shock. They can't take Kuma, even with his sheer size and him being a buccaneer. Also with the Pawpaw fruit, that was just a cheat. But obviously, him not wanting to be outlawed, he ends up captured again. Wanting Kuma back, we also see Jenny and our friends that we grew up with on the island also captured. So a full explanation of Bakuri's plan. The heavenly tribute is based on how many citizens there are in the nation, and by cutting the Sorbet Kingdom in half, obviously it cut the heavenly tribute down. And since the southern side is lawless, they can now really have a free labor force of whoever they want from the southern part of the island. Kuma, Jenny, and the boys, one of them's name is Gyo-Gyo, are ready to start fighting back seriously now. And who comes to their aid but the freedom fighters themselves? Monkey D. Dragon. And who's next to him? Big Bro Emporio Ivankov. They help break us out and then convince us to join the Revolutionary Army, as if they needed any convincing. Over time, helping do raids and freeing people, Kuma even becomes one of the 3 great pillars of the army. Jenny as well becomes a commander of her own squadron within the army. So we end this episode with one day, Kuma and Jenny squads are supposed to meet, but don't get to, because Jenny's squad is ambushed, and she's once again captured by the Celestial Dragons. Sorry everything came out late. I had everything recorded, but my software crashed and erased everything. But as you see, we have a new setup. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Like, follow, share, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Us is Black Form.